One of the most popular voice agents for AI automation agencies right now are voice agents for lawyers. And today I'll be showing the voice agents that are selling for $100, $300, and $1,000 per month. Let's get started. One of the things that we need to be aware when we build these voice agents is really understanding the customer's pain point. So I want to show you guys something. So this is a therapist thread from Reddit, but it's a white-collar role nonetheless. So we want to have a look at what the pain point they got. So I hate phone calls, I hate answering the phone, and I hate returning phone calls. I just hate it unless it's a scheduled call. I will avoid, delay, procrastinate. So my practice is sustainable, but I don't have a lot of extra for paying hundreds of dollars per month in some of the plans I see for VAs or answering services. So basically, we know that lawyers are practicing law and they're typically unavailable on the phone if they're tendering for cases or representing a particular client. And they just need someone to field the phone call. So you can see here, the particular pain point here is I literally just want someone who can take the call, write down the important info, and or give the details they're asking for. This is really important. This is the pain point you're trying to hit. Once you've gotten yourself through the door, you want to upsell the other parts of your service. But anyway, let's get started. So you can use any platform that you want. There's Vappy and there's also retail, but I personally like to use Trillet because it gets me going the quickest. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to create a flow, a basic voice agent. And in Trillet, you can go create from business. So I'm just going to look for lawyers in San Francisco. And I'm just going to pick, let's say this one. I'm going to copy the domain. And then you can see that we found the business address. And from here, we can pick a voice. So it doesn't really matter. We can change it later on, but we can.
Hi there, I'm Trillet.
We can, generate one. It will take us about 1 to 2 minutes to generate a basic template that we can use for this particular voice. And while the flow is being generated, I just want to let everyone know that we'll be picking a winner for a lifetime subscription of Trillet for free at the beginning of the first video of every week. We just pick someone random from the comments and who has liked our video. So the flow has been generated. It took about 2.5 minutes. Now, it's also generated a knowledge base based on this business. What Trillet does in the background is it scrapes this particular company's website as well as its reviews and social media to gather as much information as you can. Right. So we have the information about the law firm, some of the case types that you can attend to. It's captured some hours if it's available, some service offerings here, and pricing. And now, most importantly, are the intake questions. So obviously, when we build these agents, it's very difficult to know what the intake questions will be. But Trillet here analyzes its particular business type as well as adjacent business type to generate the questions that we should be asking during intake. One thing to note here is that a lot of businesses want their lead to be pre-qualified before allowing them to book, and this is fairly important. We can adjust these questions as we see fit, but I can tell you from experience, one of the most important things that the lawyer needs to know is the type of legal issue they're seeking assistance with. So this is typically what is the case type or what is the trouble that they're experiencing with. And you can modify this knowledge base as you see fit, and I do recommend you modifying these or at least walking through your client and going through these. Once that's done, we can go in and customize the agent as we see fit. So these are some of the basic settings. I personally like 4.1 as opposed to 4.1 mini. 4.1 is a little bit slower, but it is a bit smarter. You can pick your voices. We can discuss that a bit later, and then we can move on to the next step 2, the flow design. Now, it generates the prompt already for you. So I'll do a quick demonstration of what that looks like, and then we can move on to the next section, which is connecting it to the calendar. So let's just quickly test this right now.
Thank you for calling Dolan Law Firm. How can I help you today?
Hey, I've got a personal injury case, and I want to get legal representation.
All right, I hear you. You're looking for legal help with a personal injury case. I can help get some details for the team so they can connect with you. Could you tell me a little more about what happened with your case?
Yeah, I was assaulted in front of my house by someone I know.
I'm really sorry to hear that happened to you. Thanks for sharing that with me. Could you tell me where this took place? Was it in San Francisco or a different city?
It's able to process the emotions as well, and it's also got a human-like voice and tone that can really emphasize the empathy aspect of it. So within about 5 minutes, this is what you can sell for basically around $100 a month. This is the $100 per month agent that is ready to go. And if the customer says, hey, can I get the call recordings, the transcript and the log sent, yeah, you can either send them through an SMS, or you can send booking links, or you can send them to their business email. So all of this is, once you put in these details in, you put in the customer's address or put in the customer's phone number, and that's your $100 per month agent that is good to go. Now we're going to move on to the $300 per month agent. For the $300 per month agent, we need to do a little bit of integration, and that is integrating with their calendar. So Trillet natively supports Count.com, but and that is the easiest way to set it up. You can just get the lawyer to create their calendar or their account in there, or you can create an account and link their calendar to Count.com. I will also show you guys how to connect it to any type of calendar as well. It takes a little bit longer, but you can work with any type of calendar that the lawyer may use. So let's get the quicker one done. Let's talk about the Count.com integration. So we go to settings here. Inside settings, we have the calendar integration. We put in the agent location, which is the location of the law firm. And then in here, you want to put in the Count.com API key. So I've already put that in already. But now inside, you also need to put in event ID. So inside your Count.com, you want to go to event types and you want to make a new event. So I'm just going to make one for myself. So I'm call this Lawyers YouTube. And we're going to press continue. Once you've created the calendar, you can see in the top left corner, there are these couple numbers underneath after event types. We're going to copy that, go back to Trillet, and we're going to paste that event ID here. And after that, you're pretty much done. So now that you can see the calendar functions have been enabled, we basically want to press save, and it's able to automatically integrate with our Count.com calendar. Now let's test the agent.
Thank you for calling Dolan Law Firm. How can I help you today?
Hey, I want to make a booking with an attorney. I have a personal injury case.
Okay, got it. You're looking to book with an attorney about a personal injury case. Could you briefly describe what happened or the circumstances of your case?
I like how it's not blindlessly letting me to book, because even for law firms, we have to make sure the lead's qualified. Yeah, I was assaulted outside my house by someone I know.
All right, thanks for letting me know. Where did the incident happen? Was it at your home address or somewhere else?
Yeah, it was at my home address.
Okay, understood. What's your preferred timeline for resolving this issue? Are you hoping to speak with someone soon, or is there a specific time frame you have in mind?
I'm thinking, do you have any available slots, maybe next Friday?
Let me check. So you're hoping for an appointment next Friday. What time would you prefer that day? Morning, afternoon, or is there a specific time you have in mind?
Morning, 9 a.m.?
Looks like 9 a.m. isn't available next Friday. The earliest openings start from 7 p.m. that day. Would you want an evening slot instead, or is there another day and time that might work?
So this is fine because I'm based in Australia and I've set my calendar to San Francisco, so Los Angeles. Yeah, let's do 7 p.m.
All right, booking for next Friday at 7 p.m. What's your name?
Yeah, my name is Frank.
Thanks, Frank. Is the number you're calling from the best way to reach you? And could I get your email address for the booking confirmation?
Yeah, the number is, I'm calling from my mobile, and my email is frank@gmail.com. It's pulling the necessary functions.
All right, you're all set for Friday, January 30th at 7 p.m. One of the attorneys will meet with you then, and you'll get a confirmation at your email. If you have any other questions or need to reschedule, you can just call back. Take care, Frank. Bye.
So I've just got my email notification as well. So just want to let you guys know that basically all of the language and all of the things that is required for the booking is automatically configured. So you don't have to configure anything, but you can if you want to. For the booking, if I just refresh, so you can see the, next Friday. So Frank at 7 p.m. That's booked into my Australian time zone calendar. So obviously that's why it's a little bit funky. And I've also got the notification come up on my phone as well. So that's sort of how it's done with the default approach with Cal.com integration. It asks all of the necessary information as needed. So that is, for example, if you add more fields in your Cal.com calendar, the AI would automatically add more things. So in this particular instance, I've asked Cal.com to ask the phone number, the email, and the name, which is the default settings inside this particular event. I believe is this one. So in advance, there is the phone number, so email address is required, phone number is hidden. So I think phone number is part of our transcript requirement for texting, since we send SMS reminders by default. And then you ask the email address. If you add any more fields, it will automatically communicate from the AI to our system, and it will automatically update correspondingly. So that's how it's currently set up. Now, what I'm going to show you guys is how we can do the same process, but with any calendar. So I'm going to show you an example with integrating with Cal.com, but in this case, this will work regardless of the calendar. So if the lawyer uses Gmail or Microsoft, it will all work the same because the process is exactly the same. So let's exit out of this. And what we want to do is first disable our Cal.com integration. So let's disable that off and close that and hit save first. And one thing I noticed with our platform is in the settings, if you go to call settings, if you scroll down, make sure disable metadata is disabled. This is the case by default, but just in case. So what this does is it allows a custom query parameter. This is more so tailored for our enterprise customers, but make sure that's disabled. Now moving on to the calendar component. So for the calendar component, you guys need to be aware of two things mostly. Every calendar will be made up of these components as at the very core. Checking availability, then making the appointment. Every calendar would operate the same way or very, very similar. So once you have a root understanding of how this works, you can use this for everything else. So for check availability, we have the relevant documents in Cal.com. So this is the relevant docs. And we need to basically first create a new API. So in here, I'm going to call it check appointment availability. This will be check the appointment. Use this function when you need to check for the booking availability, right? You can add text to speak when an API is called in here if you want, something like 1 moment please while I check. And then for the sake of simplicity, I have the link copied over, but let's go over this quickly. So this is the URL that you need to use for GET request. So in Cal.com, you can see this is the base URL. And then in an example, we need to provide the event type ID, the start date, the end date, and the time zone. I literally copy and pasted this and updated some values to do some testing. And then in here, this is the event type ID that I need to update it to. I'm going to keep the start and end date the same for now, and Australia time zone is fixed, right? So there's another thing is we need to provide the authorization, the API token, and the Cal API token, the Cal.com API token. So in there, in request header, because we've mentioned here, this is a header, right? In header, we want to add first authorization. For the sake of completeness, I'm going to add a new token. Let's call it U2 tips 3, and then I'm going to expire 7 days. I'm going to copy this key, right? I'm going to paste it here. Add the second component, which is this one, Cal API version. Let me just copy that. And then the date, add that in. And then I'm going to press test. Voila, that has worked. So everything here is outputted all my calendar dates. So now that we've done that, we can simply press save, right? So this is now the checking available appointments done. Also, just noticed something. Also, my face in the way. Let me remove that real quick. Inside the check appointment availability, we need to edit that. We need to add these variables in. we need to add a start time variable, which is the date which the caller wants to make the appointment, in the format of year, month, day, date. And then we also want to add an end time. It'll be the date after which the caller wants the format, blah, blah, blah. And additionally, we need to make some adjustments here. This is where I myself get a little bit confused. So in here, we want to write, in curly brackets, this would be variable dot start time. And then here in the end, it is going to be underscore variable dot end time. If you wanna, we have a lot of different variables. You can read more about how that works in here. We have a guide here, but the reason we have so many variables is we can dynamically capture information as it unfolds without us, without you telling it. So in the background, we're always capturing information, and we can reference these variables that have been brought up in conversation with this syntax. So that's how this works. Now, typically at this point, I would like to obviously test whether this has worked. One easy way for me to do this is just delete all of the prompt and then test it, and then add the prompt back in a bit later. So keep in mind, we also still have some information in the background that goes through the questions because we have the knowledge base attached to it. But nonetheless, we can test it pretty effortlessly. So I'm just going to go through that.
Thank you for calling Dolan Law Firm. How can I help you today?
Hey, I want to make an appointment. Can you check some availabilities for next Friday, please?
Sure, I can help with that. Next Friday is January 30th, 2026. What time would you prefer for your appointment?
Do you have any evening availabilities? Let's say 8 p.m.
Yeah, there's an opening at 8 p.m. next Friday.
So we could see these payloads. We want to see, okay, it's correct, looked for the right date because next Friday is the 30th. Fantastic, right? The cal version is correct. We can look at the response in UTC, correct, and the function call. So that's the output. So fantastic. Now we know everything is working. So we can move on to the next step, which is the actual booking component. Now we want to make a new API call. So in here, you can name it what we want. So we call it booking appointment. Use this function when you need to book an appointment. Now inside calc.com, I've got the create booking API. Obviously you need to have a little bit of understanding. So this is the URL, right? And it's going to be a post call. We got two headers that we need to put in, and as well as, I believe, what else do we need? We need this header, we need the cal API version header, and we need the authorization header. This should also be required, but I think they forgot to put that tag in. So let's just do that. Let's copy this URL. So that is the URL that we put in here. We remember it was a post request based on the post here. We have two headers. We have this particular header. So let's add request headers. Let's add the first one. The version was this number, and then the other one was authorization. I actually forgot my key, so I'm gonna make another one. I'm gonna copy this key and then add that in. Once that's done, we have to put in the payload. So the payload is this section here. So I'm just going to copy all of this for starters, and then we can slowly eliminate those. So inside the header, we can read the documentation if we like. We need a start date for the booking, the attendee, and that's sort of more or less it in terms of what is actually required. But I know from memory it's a little bit more. So obviously their documentation, while it's half decent, it's not the best. And we also need to make some minor adjustments. So let's just delete most of these things. So we need to keep event ID, because obviously we need to know what event we're booking towards. and we can remove, I believe, up to here. So I believe I missed something, closing curly bracket. So this is, I believe, from memory what we need. I need to find my calendar again, which anyone will do, paste that in, and I'm just gonna update the date to and just gonna test it to see if that works. Great, wonderful, that has worked. Now what we need to do is then actually capture the name and the email of the person. So what we do, once again, we want to put in name, the name of the caller, and email, the email of the caller. And what we want to do is inside these quotation marks, we add the double curly brackets, and we use the same convention as before, the variable dot name, and then in here this will be underscore variable and dot email, and that's pretty much what we have to do. So I'm just gonna save that. There's also one thing I forgot here, and that is the booking time needs to be converted, and this is going to be a little bit tricky for people who has not done this before. So right now our time zone is in America, New York. So like we're talking to the agent as if they're in America, New York. But this time zone is in UTC plus 0. So what we have to do is we have to tell the AI it needs to convert the time. So the time, the caller, the time zone, the caller will be based in is America, New York. Please convert the time zone to UTC so that it fits our format. So let's try that. And we're so close, we're almost there, and let's do a final test.
Thank you for calling Dolan Law Firm. How can I help you today?
Hey, I want to make an appointment for next Friday at 7 p.m.
Okay, just to double check, you want to book an appointment for next Friday at 7 p.m., right? Can I get your name, please?
Yeah, my name is Frank.
Thanks, Frank. And is the number you're calling from the best way to reach you? Or is there another number you'd prefer?
Yeah, the number, this number is fine.
Got it. And just so I have everything, can you tell me what type of legal issue you're seeking assistance with?
Yeah, it's a personal injury case.
So next Friday at 7 p.m. isn't available, but there are evening slots open starting at 7:30 p.m., 7:45 p.m., and later. Would you like one of those, or do you want to try a different time?
Yeah, let's do 7:30.
All right, we'll book you for next Friday at 7:30 p.m. What's your email address, just so the team can send you a confirmation?
It's frank@gmail.com.
You're all set for next Friday at 7:30 p.m. You'll get a confirmation email at frank@gmail.com. If you need anything else, just let me know. Otherwise, take care and goodbye.
So that went well, but I wasn't actually expecting it to go well. So this time the AI was smart enough to convert the email. But what I was trying to hope that you would stuff up is sometimes AI is smart enough, but sometimes it's not. The email of the caller, we need to convert in the right email format. So otherwise it will break, because that's what I was hoping to do as a purpose of this demonstration. The email of the caller will be in the format of email@domain.com, so that we will always convert it in this format, because sometimes when I've done in the past, it writes the email as frank@gmail.com and it just doesn't work. I would say maybe 1 out of 3 times that's an edge case. So that's part of debugging. I'm letting you know from experience that this has happened. Now we're almost complete with the $300 agent here, but there is one thing that I want to make mention. So right now, the behavior you've seen in the agent is actually all native. This is based on our generic, or not generic, this is based on our design. It's able to handle like bookings out of the box. This is without any instruction, and the language is used. It's already good, but it could be better. What I'll provide with you guys is our own prompt. So this is the prompt that we use for all of the booking. So you simply just paste it in here. We can go through what it looks like in a second, but you can just paste it in your agent and it'll work universally. The only thing you have to change is inside here, we tell it what functions to look for. So it says check agent event availability and book event. So these, you have to update the book appointment and book and check appointment availability to the same names and it'll work. It tells you about the language you uses when taking appointments, and also it converts the times as well natively. That's why I didn't do it initially in the video, because I'm so used to having this prompt in the back end. And same with the format, date, time parameter, and the proper ISO format. So you can delete this here if you already done it in the API, or you don't do it in the API and then keep it here. And one thing as well, we validate all of the information, even though the AI sometimes do it, sometimes it doesn't, but we explicitly tell it to validate this particular information. So this has been battle tested. We've used this hundreds, if not thousands of times. We've made thousands of bookings for a lot of other businesses. This will be available in our school community so that you can use this for anything. So just as a summary, this will work universally for every booking calendar type there is. And as a special treat, I want to share with you guys a couple things that a lot of businesses love. So first things first, they love getting an SMS, right, or an email when a booking or an appointment has been made. So you can set these up automatically inside the platform. And I also want to stress that we take care of all the A2P campaign system stuff application for you. So for those of you who do know, in order to send out SMS messages to the customers, you need to set up your business, then put in a campaign application with the telephony provider. That takes anywhere between 2 weeks to 2 to 4 weeks, and you have to pay a $20 fee. We do all of that for you, and you can simply just enable it. We are fully compliant. We've already applied for the application, and we are universally able to send these out. So this is something that you don't have to send an application for. It works already out of the box, and that is one of the magical things that we have at Trillet. You can also customize the office hours should they have an office hours as well. So everything's built in. But one thing that really makes your agent stand out is what we call the whisper transfer. A whisper transfer, if I would just enable that, a whisper transfer is basically a transfer that gently asks if you're available. So for example, a caller calls and it's an emergency and they need to speak to a lawyer straight away. The agent has the ability to transfer to the lawyer, but what it will do is it will be like, hey Frank, I have XYZ on the line. They say it's an urgent case about a personal injury. Do you want to take this call? If the lawyer says yes, then the transfer occurs. If the lawyer says no, the AI will come back and say, hey Frank, unfortunately, Mr. Jones is unavailable at the moment. I can leave a message, or we can continue with your booking. So these are some of the garnishing that is dependent on every law firm that you work with. And that is sort of the complete $300 per month package that we have had a lot of success selling. And now for the $1,000 per month agent. It's actually not that much different to the $300 per month. The only difference is under the law firm, there are multiple users. So that means multiple calendars or multiple transfers. So in here, I won't go through the transfer today, but there's warm transfer, cold transfer, agent transfer. You can transfer between AIs as well. But warm transfer is basically, hey, I have XYZ on the line. I'm just letting you know before I connect you. And the cold transfer is just no message, direct transfer. Whisper transfer, we just gone over, and then transfer to AI. Now, to make a $1,000 per month agent, all you have to do is the ability to triage the conversation, right? So when you greet the caller, how can I help you? Sometimes they say, hey, I want to talk to XYZ, or hey, I want to make a booking. When you make a booking, however, you need to understand the conditional approach with the booking. So, for example, we only want to use a particular link when it's a personal injury case, or we only want to book a particular calendar when it's traffic infringement. Let's do that. So use this function when you need to check for the booking availability, right? So instead, you could simply write use this function when you need to check for the booking availability for a personal injury claim, because this is the personal injury lawyer's calendar. You save that, and then obviously you can duplicate it, right? And then this will be a traffic infringement case. And let's just, change this to a different calendar of mine. So let's put it into YouTube. Let's try this one. So this one ends in 20, and this one ends in the previous one ends in 86, right? So now what we want to do is, based on the calendar, based on what the requirement is, it triages automatically. But luckily for you guys, most of this is already done, and the AI is smart enough to do this organically. And you can also, or you can use our AI system. You can start a chat and say, hey, I want to modify this particular prompt accordingly. I'm not going to show that today, but this is a lot simpler than most people think. So what we have to do is, today everything's the same. We're asking why they're calling, and then book accordingly, right? So there are multiple agents, there are multiple practitioners at a particular law firm. Just for the sake of demonstration, I'm going to ask for a traffic infringement case, and then let's see the AI route to the particular booking link.
Thank you for calling Dolan Law Firm. How can I help you today?
Hey, I want to make a I want to make an appointment for a traffic infringement case.
Sure, I can help with that. What date were you hoping to schedule your appointment for?
I'm thinking maybe next Tuesday at 8 p.m.
All right, just so you know, our business hours aren't specifically listed, so I'll need to check if an evening appointment around 8 p.m. next Tuesday is available. Could you quickly confirm your name for me?
My name is Frank. So we can see here that it's routed to the traffic infringement booking calendar. So you can see, regardless of what arbitrage you need to set, you simply can just duplicate it and give some basic instruction on when you will call. The AI is actually smart enough for it to just go to that. So for example, use this function when you need to check for the booking calendar for a personal injury claim, or if a user wants to, or if a caller wants to speak to Tom Jones, who is the traffic infringement lawyer. You can just simply write that in, and it takes care of everything else. So, and the magic of the AI and how we've prompted here in our agent at Trillet, it's going to be a principle-based agent. And what that means is that the AI is not fixed, and it has the freedom to ask all the right questions, because the end of the goal, what the AI needs to do is ask the questions and make the appointment. The order in which they ask questions isn't going to be the deal breaker, because I think a lot of builders say, hey, he needs to ask the questions in this particular format, and as a result, they prompt it in this particular sequence, and if the sequence goes wrong, they scrap the agent. That's actually not true, because from a principle-based approach, a receptionist might ask for your last name first, then your first name, or a first name first, then your last name. We shouldn't, call an agent based on that response. But the way we've prompted it is that sometimes you would, ask you for your name, or sometimes ask you for your case number. But regardless, you will always ask for the information. But the reason we have done it with this level of flexibility is because sometimes the AI thinks it's easier to to connect a different topic to, let's say, hey, I just want to grab your name so that I can make a booking for you. That as a sentence might be easier and more natural to say for an AI than say, yes, I just want to know what is the reason for your call. So in this particular design philosophy, we've had very little failure in terms of the booking process because we allowed the AI to have the freedom to choose which question is most relevant, but at the end of the day, make sure it captures all of the questions. So I think a lot of people are like, oh, you didn't ask, the questions in this particular order, but in reality, our intake process has been complete almost 99.98% of the time. So now that's more or less it for the 3 different types of agents, but I do want to add a small note for the $1,000 agent, and that is it is a little bit more bespoke than what I've demonstrated in that, yes, the booking process and the involvement is more or less going to be the same, but the language in which it is used and the features it has is a little bit more custom. What I mean by that is, so for example, is certain law firms might want to capture a deposit before the actual booking process, and you can do that natively through the Cout.com. It's not so much the feature of the voice agent itself, but rather the business solution and the business features that it has, capturing payment over the phone, or the ability to look inside their bespoke calendar that has, maybe you have to do a conflict check inside that particular agent. Obviously, we don't know what sort of CRM or system that they're looking towards to do, but that is something that you can still do. And you have to also keep, as an agency, keep a good relationship and these businesses happy as well, because for a $1,000 retainer, they expect you to be at basically their mercy when it comes to adding features and building out different things. But the great news is, once it's a working relationship, and once you've established that, it's going to be a long-term, passive, predictable, reoccurring income. So I hope this sort of makes sense for everybody. Happy to take any questions or comments, and all the best. Good luck with building.